Okay, so what we're working on today is a little brief introduction into working with word problems. Okay, and so one thing that's important is when we're writing ratio for word problems, you have to write them in order. So whatever comes first needs to go on top of the fraction. All right, so at the mall there's 32 stores, 18 clothing, 4 home goods, 2 pet stores, 4 toy stores, and 4 electronic stores. So this first problem is asking you to find the ratio, and remember ratio is just a fraction of home goods to clothing. So that means home comes first, so I put it on the top of the fractions, and then clothing's on the bottom. Okay, this seems small, but I've found that when students do not write out what goes on top, what goes on bottom, they'll make more mistakes. So my recommendation is take the extra 5 seconds to write it out. It's not going to kill you. All right, so home goods, according to this, there's 4 home goods and there's 18 clothing. And so that's the answer. If you want to reduce it, you can by dividing by 2, but you don't have to. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to try number 2 and 3. And so again, find the ratio, and I would like you to write the words first and then fill in the numbers. And once you guys think you have it as a class, you can go ahead and press play. All right, for number 2, it should have been toy stories over pet stores. Not stories, but stores. So if we look here, there's 4 toy stores and 2 pet stores. And again, you can reduce the fraction or you can keep it there. For ratios, it does not matter right now. All right, and then number 3, electronic stores. So electronic stores to all stores. So electronic stores, there's 4. And right here it said there was a total of 32 at the beginning. So again, you can keep the fraction like that or you can reduce it. If you reduce it, you would divide both by 4 and you would get 1 over 8. Okay, so that's all it is. When we're asking us to write the ratio, it's not super hard. It's just knowing which one has to go on top and which one has to go on bottom. All right, let's look at this last one where we have to do some solving. Let me insert some space. Okay, so when baking for large groups, you often have to adjust recipes that will have a large enough for everyone you're cooking for. I have a great mac and cheese recipe that calls for 2 tablespoons of sour cream plus 13 other ingredients, and it only serves 7 people. So I'm wanting to increase the recipe so I can serve 10, but I don't want to have leftovers because if there's too many leftovers, then they'll go bad. All right, so the 2 topics I have is I have sour cream, and then I have people. Now, when you do this problem, it does not matter which one goes on top or bottom. You just have to decide, okay? So I'm going to do sour cream on top because it came first. And again, if you do it the other way, you're going to get the same answer in the end. And then people. Now, the first fraction is always the original ones, the original numbers you have, okay? So the original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons and it feeds 7 people. Now, the second fraction is what you're looking for, okay? And so I want to serve 10 people. And so what you have to do is you have to figure out, if I want to serve 10 people, am I going to put the 10 up top or am I going to put the 10 on the bottom? And the way you determine that is right here. It says people and people's on the bottom. So that means I need to put the 10 on the bottom. And then I don't know what this is, so I put the X here. Okay. All right, so now I solved this problem. To get rid of a divide by 10, I times by 10. And remember, timesing by 10 puts it on the top. And so those 10s cross off. 10 times 2 is 20 divided by 7. And so I get my handy dandy calculator. And 20 divided by 7 is 2.86. So I would need 2.86 tablespoons of sour cream. Okay. If you were going to set it up the other way, if I put people on top of sour cream, all that happens is that 10 goes on top now because people was on top. And then remember when we solve these problems, we don't like x's on the bottom, so we would have to flip both of these, and then you can solve it. Okay, but again, right here, I think this is the most important part, writing that word, because it's very easy to forget where you put things. And that part right there, if you write that, it takes you all of 5 seconds, and you 99% of the time are going to get the problem right because you know where to put things. Okay, that's it. And remember, write the words and then put whatever comes first on top, and then on the bottom when you're writing the ratio.